Right. So for the benefit of people who just joined, let me just explain this super part again. So in the runner, I'm passing these two variables here. If I go inside this, this will trigger the execution of this constructor. And as soon as this constructor is executed, this will actually set the variables which I'm passing from outside to a variable present inside the super class, which is actually abstract calc operation. So here, if you want to access these variables from subclasses, which is your addition class, which is actually subclass of this super class. If you want to access the variables from addition to the variables present inside super class, you're going to make use of a keyword in Java called as super. So super.num1, super.num2 will give you access to the variables which is present here, right? So that is the reason I'm using here super, because I want to set those values present there. As soon as I do that, it will be set, and those will also be accessed here. Now if you can say why we are not using super here, we can make use of super here as well. Okay, but since I don't actually explicitly have to mention it, that's why I was not mentioning it. But if I do that, this is also pretty straightforward and pretty accurate, that I want to make use of these variables which is present inside here, right? Same thing we'll do for subtraction. So again, I will go to subtraction, and here, let me just copy paste quickly. So here I will just write something like this here, and I will give it a name as subtraction because this belongs to subtraction class. This constructor is a subtraction class constructor, and the same rule applies here. I will make this as well super dot and super dot and again super dot. Right, so now this performs sub operation, and this performs that operation. So here actually again it is saying why you're not sending me the variables, because I need to call a parameterized constructor. So I'll write here pass values here 15 and let's say 3. Now I don't have any need of calling these methods, so I'll remove them. And now this is all I have to write here. So this is for subtraction code. This is for addition code. Let me just make it better. Right, so this is for addition, this is for subtraction. Now, uh, I don't know how bored you are right now, but there's one more concept I would like to, uh, mention here. The concept really is called, actually there are two concepts. One is an abstract class concept. Second is similar to that, polymorphism. So let me just quickly tell you that so that you completely get a package on what you need to work upon. And you also should be following the same way, the way I'm doing it. First create a simple one, then create with different classes, and then create a parent class, and then create an abstract class. So what I'll do next is I really I am looking for a parent thing, right? To reduce the number of method calls present here, I want to implement a concept called as abstraction here, right? Now how will I do that? Let me just quickly tell you. So what I'll do here, first of all, the first concept which is available here. By the way, guys, are you guys up for it? Do you guys feeling bored, or maybe you are kind of thinking it's too much information for today? If it is, then we can talk
No,
about it tomorrow.
no, you can continue.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Iqbal. So now this is my class. If I go here, now first difference here is, if you notice how I am creating the object. So I'm creating addition, addition, and new addition like this. Now, since the parent of this addition is a super class, so the way of defining or declaring the variable or object can also be like this. So now basically I can also create the object using the name of the parent. That also is something which I can actually do. And the same thing applies for subtraction as well, because they both have the same, very same parent class. They both belongs to the same category. It's something like you all are human, so I can say human h is equal to new Akash, let's say, which is me. It's my class, for example. Or I can say animal h is equal to new Akash, because human is a type of animal, right? Since human parent class is animal, I can make use of the parent class to define the object. So to define the object, the idea is very simple here. To define an object, you can make use of the same name or its parent name. If it has a parent, then you can use the parent name to declare the variable or an object. So that is what I'm trying to do here. Here you will see there is no syntax errors present here. There are some errors here which we'll sort it out. But right now we have to focus on this declaration part. Okay. So abstract calc operation, since it is a parent of addition class, I am able to make use of it directly here. Right. Now next concept which is here is, how about I create a method here called as protected void, and I give it a name as perform operation. And I'm not really defining what kind of operation. Okay. I'm not saying whether it's a addition operation on, or it is a subtraction operation, or it's a multiplication operation. I'm not defining anything there. All I'm saying is that all the calculator operation need to have a method called as perform operation, and that is it. That is all I'm trying to talk about, right? Now the problem is, if I kind of write the definition of it, this is the declaration, and this what we write inside is actually is a definition. Sorry, definition of the method. So I cannot now really write what kind of operation, because it could be addition, it could be subtraction. It really depend on the subclasses to define it, right? An abstract method available here called as perform operation is not supposed to be mentioning what kind of operation. It is just, all I'm saying is that there has to be an operation for inside all the subclasses. Now it's up to the subclasses to decide what kind of operations they want to perform. But the problem is I cannot leave it like this. Okay. Again, there are two ways. Either I could just simply say perform an operation, and I can leave it like this. And then next what I'll do is, inside my addition class, I will simply write public, or I should say something like this here. And I will write here override. So when I do that, when I do this specific kind of thing, this actually what I'm trying to do is that inside the subclass, I am overriding this method perform operation, which is present inside the abstract class, or if not abstract class, which is present inside the parent class. So inside the parent class, we have protected void perform operation. I am putting an empty body here, which is again not very right thing to do. But right now I'm choosing to put it as empty, because I don't want to define any operation, right? And inside the subclass called as addition, I'm writing here override. It means when this method is called on addition object, this will be triggered, and not this one. Okay. So if I go here inside my addition class, now perform operation here, now I can actually mention what kind of operation I want to do. So in this case, I want to do a addition operation. So I'll write here private. I don't want this to be exposed outside. I will write here perform add operation here. I'll call this method here. All right. How it will change the runner file? I will go here inside addition. I will call addition dot perform operation. Okay. Same thing I will do inside subtraction. Here also I will do the same thing, because the same method is being called here. So I will just override this inside subtraction like this, and I will call perform subops, which is like this. Okay, and I will make this as private. Now if I go to the runner file, which is this, how it will change? I will just simply write dot perform operation. So now notice what is the difference, what's happening. You see this same class I'm using for here as well as here, and this allows me to call the same method perform operation here as well as here. I'm not calling sub dot perform subtraction or perform addition. I'm not calling perform addition here. I'm just calling perform operation. As soon as I call this, what will happen? If it is called on the addition object, it will trigger it will trigger the addition version of it, which is perform add ops. So it will add it. If I go here, if I call this perform operation, what will happen? And it is being called inside the sub method subtraction object. When I do this, then what will happen? It will trigger this perform operation because I have overridden it. So this brings me a concept called as override. Overriding simply means if some method is available inside the superclass and you want to override it in the subclass, you're going to write override here. And when you do that, Eclipse show you an arrow also. This arrow actually shows, this arrow actually means that you are overriding the method. Overrides the method which is present inside the parent class. So this is the concept of override. And now my method, my runner method, as well as my addition method, as well as my subtraction method, they all look very, very well organized, and they all are following object oriented programming. Okay. We can again make it better, but I'm not going to talk more into it. We can again make it better. We can make it as an abstract class, but we will not do that as of yet. We'll do that maybe in the later classes. But for now, the concept how to implement object oriented programming is what I actually tried to explain. So let me, in the previous slide, when I actually showed you the slide, if you remember the slide which we had earlier, which is this one. So I told you that I'm going to implement three main important object-oriented programming concepts. One is encapsulation, second is inheritance, and third is polymorphism. Inheritance you already understood. Encapsulation you understood because we are encapsulating what is not to be exposed, and we are creating a wrapper out of it, right? So here we have encapsulated the addition, we are encapsulated the subtraction, we are also encapsulated these properties here inside a class, and we have protected them, right? Last thing is polymorphism. So polymorphism, if you notice, you see perform operation and you see perform operation. You are calling the same method, but they are giving you different results. This is polymorphism. Polymorphism means taking multiple forms. There are different ways how you can achieve it. But here in this particular example, this is how a polymorphism concept is implemented. You notice the perform operation and perform operation, both are same operations, same methods. But when we are actually using them, they are giving me different results based on where I am calling it. If I'm calling it on addition, and if you notice the addition object also has the same parent, right? Even though that is the case, still it will give me different results. All right, guys. So this is how these three principles I have tried to implement. You guys will have to practice it. This is the what you see right now is the actual thing which I want to talk about. So I wanted to create this base class. I was supposed to create it as an abstract class, but as I said, I don't want to confuse you. For now, just keep it simple. I have skipped this part, but if you understood this example, what I've just told you, you try to make it as an abstract class. It's no big deal. You all have to mark it abstract if you're not sure about the abstract concept. Anyway, we are going to talk about it tomorrow in tomorrow's class. But till tomorrow, try to implement whatever I have done so far because it will make more sense to you tomorrow. If you don't do that, then it becomes difficult for you to understand really what's happening after this class. Okay, so please try it out. Do a proper hands-on because as I talked about in the previous sessions about the example, you want to cut a tree, you have to make use of the axe and actually try to cut a tree. You cannot just theorize it in a book and read about it and you just learn how to cut a tree. If you really want to learn it, you have to pick up the axe and you have to start cutting the tree. That is the approach you have to take. Otherwise, there is no redemption. You cannot learn it. Okay. Enough said. Do you have anything for me? Any doubt? Anything which you didn't understand properly? Any concern? Issues?
Yes, Akash sir, Aarti here. Can you just open the screen which includes this keyword?
You mean in the PPT?
Yes, yes.
Which keyword you're talking about? And
This keyword.
this keyword. Okay.
Yes.
So this keyword I have used, I
In
think
program.
in program you want. Okay. So in program, this is where I used, I think. No, I've removed that. I'm not using this here, but here you will see this dot num1. Yeah.
No, I want. Sir, can you just open the program?
So in the program, there was this, I was using this keyword, but I'm no longer using it. I removed it because, okay, this is where it is. Yeah. See this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So my question is, like, instead of using this keyword, because we are using all the integer values and all in local area, right? So
Yeah.
directly we can access it. So what is the use of this here?
Yeah. There's no use. You can avoid it, but it's always good to make things specific. When I write this, it will always belong to that specific object. If you remove it, it's fine. But when later someone tries to use or try to add another class object here and there, let's say abstract calc operation also has a parent. There we have another variables. If something changes and if this keyword is not being used here, something might break. Okay, so it's a good practice. So I was also talking about the super keyword also. Remember super keyword. Right now I no need to use super directly here. I can just simply leave it like this, but I'm still using it because it's a good practice,
Yeah.
right? So because just by doing it, I can actually, anyone can read it and understand that this is present inside the parent class, right? So it's a good practice to use these keywords.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. So is
Yeah.
one more question? Is it mandatory to use protected if you are using the extend keyword? The method should be protected.
Yes, it should be. Otherwise, as I said, there are two ways to do it. Either you will mark it as private. If you mark it as a
Mhm.
private, no one can use it. If you mark it as public, then everyone can use it, which we also don't want. So we will mark it as protected. That means only the subclasses can access it. So that is,
Oh,
if this is a parent class, it always, again, a good practice, it always has to be a protected class or protected variables and methods.
okay, sir,
All,
got it.
all right. And I just kind of got another explanation of why I'm using this here. So you see, there's a variable called as num here, and there is a variable called as num here. Now if I just simply do this, now what do I mean by num equal to num1, right? So there can be confusion because the name of the variable here is also the name of the variable present inside the class. So right now, by putting this dot num, I'm saying that this value should be equal to this value. Getting it? So that is
Yes,
here
sir.
in this specific case, this is the need of why I'm using this here. So it's always a good practice to use this. That is what I'm saying. Even though it looks why I'm using it, but still, if you are accessing something from here, you use this. This minimizes the chances of any human errors or any mistakes which can lead to unnecessary hassles later on, right? So it's always good to use this and super. Super I'm using directly using here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. What else?
I have one
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, if I want to use a properties of parent class into the child class or a subclass,
Mhm,
and if I declare the properties in parent class as a public,
mhm.
so is it possible to use as public? So what will
So,
be instead of declaring protected, if I use a public, so is there any difference?
so let's do that. So I have marked this as public. This is the parent class, right? And here I'm using results. So it's the super dot result. So I can access it. So there's no difference, right? But the problem is if anyone, since this is public, that means it is accessible from anywhere. That means in a runner file or a separate runner file, if anyone goes ahead and changes this result directly from here, it is not a good thing to do, right? The chances of destroying this, chances that someone actually go and make some changes inside this result will be higher from a separate package, separate class. We don't want this to be public. We want this to be protected always or private. The idea, simple idea is the instance. So if we properly follow object oriented programming principle, this is supposed to be private. Your
For
instance
security.
variables are always supposed to be private. You should
For
never make it
security.
for security, right? For security, it's not that security that someone will hack your system. It's not that. It's simply that someone do not make a common mistake. So these are the common mistakes. Like if some variable is exposed, they might accidentally make mistakes there, accidentally change its value, and then your code will have a defect or a bug, and then you will spend too much time to find or solve it. So these are standard practices, right? These are standard practices, standard operating procedure. You know, SOPs होते हैं बहुत जगह, आर्म फोर्सेस में भी होते हैं, standard operating procedures. Like you can keep your gun at the top, you can keep your gun at the bottom, you can keep your gun at the side. But best way to do is to keep your gun upside down, so that if accidentally a trigger is being executed, a trigger is being pressed, no one gets hurt. So if you notice the soldiers, which is soldiers when they go for, or when they go in a file, they keep their guns either at the top or at the bottom, right? Why? Because that's a standard operating procedure. Similarly here, it's a standard operating procedure, so that you don't mess things up accidentally, right? So that's the good practice, that you should always make them as private, not public at all. There's never a case where you have to make these variables public. Of course, there could be some certain exception where you have to do it, but mostly if you properly following object-oriented programming languages, then you have to make it as private. If you are trying to subclass it, then you will mark it as protected. Otherwise, the subclasses might not be able to access it. So private and protected is what you are supposed to be using, never public.
Got it.
Right? Right. So these principles, see, the thing is, these principles which I'm talking about called as object-oriented programming, right? So if you notice here, I'm not using any object-oriented programming in this case. It's simple procedural example. No object-oriented programming available here. Sorry, in this case, no object. In the same class, I'm doing everything. Java allows it. Yes, Java allows it. But that doesn't mean you should not be using object-oriented programming. You can do it something in a certain way, but that could be a wrong way or right way, right? When you do something of this sort, public, you make something public, instance variables, you're marking it as public, you are doing everything in the same class. So then the code will still work. Java will not say you cannot. You can still do it, but it is not a good practice, and it could lead to problems later on. So why we use object-oriented programming? So that it is an answer to many common problems. It was not there previously. Previously, everyone used to do everything has used to be in a single class or a single file. But later, when the amount of code increases, it brings more problems on the table, and it becomes difficult if you keep on following the same approach. So object-oriented programming approach is an answer to all of those problems. You can choose to use it, you can choose not to use it. It's up to you. Similarly to the example which I gave about soldier can keep their gun pointing to you, or pointing to bottom, or pointing to the top. Standard operating procedure says place it at the down. So that if accidentally trigger is pressed, no one gets hurt, the bullet goes down. Same thing here. These are standard operating procedures. If you follow them, they are less mess later. All right. Okay.
Yes.
More questions? Right. So what you guys should now do is, you guys should be doing whatever you should be able to do it, whatever I have told you so far, in the same sequence. So don't immediately start with these abstract class and inheritance and all. First try a simple class like this, and then go and create something of this sort, which you see here. Okay. And you can also follow, if you don't want to create an abstract class, I'm going to talk more about abstract class tomorrow. But if you don't want to do that, then you can simply follow this approach, parent class. Okay. So go step by step. Try to do this as early as possible, because it's fresh in your head. If you do it quickly, lot of things are still fresh, and you can actually retain it while doing it, and it will be better. If you keep it for tomorrow, or maybe day after tomorrow, then it will little bit fade away. So I will recommend, when something happens, immediately try to do it in a first go. All right, guys. So if nothing else, then I will just wrap up the call. In case you still kind of confused, you have to ping in the groups asking for problems. If you're getting some errors, you have to take a screenshot, take a photo, or take a screenshot and place it inside WhatsApp. I will answer it. I and my team, we will try to answer it. Okay, but don't just get stuck, or don't just, even if you get stuck, don't stay stuck. tell us, immediately tell us that I'm stuck here, please help us or help me. Okay, that should be the approach, or that should be the guidelines for, you know, during all this, where whatever we are going to do for next couple coming months. This is the guideline. As soon as you get stuck, immediately you have to let us know, immediately you have to take the snapshot, place it. All right. Okay, enough said. Then I think it's a wrap. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll post the timing tomorrow. Maybe it's the same time, 2 p.m. But if there is any change, I will let you know on the WhatsApp group. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.